Welcome to today's Explainer. I'm really thrilled you're tuning in because today we're tackling a highly specific, totally fascinating technical scenario that honestly trips up even the most seasoned professionals. We're going to design an 8-kilowatt solar system for a hair salon, but we're not doing it the way most folks out there explain it. We're definitely not just going to count up appliances, tally up the total wattages, and blindly buy an inverter. Instead, we're diving deep into the harsh, real-world reality of heat loads and surge behavior.
There's a brilliant quote that exposes a fatal flaw in how these systems are usually built. It goes, "A salon doesn't fail because it has too much equipment. It fails because too many heat loads activate at the exact same time." This, right here, is the very real danger of silent thermal stacking. You see, the standard approach focuses way too much on solar panel count and simply matching an 8-kilowatt inverter to what they think is an 8-kilowatt load. But doing that completely misses the incredibly dynamic reality of how a bustling salon actually operates on a Tuesday afternoon.
So, to fix these pretty dangerous installation habits, we've put together a bit of a rescue plan for today's Explainer. We'll start off by exposing the silent killer in system design. Then, we'll dissect the anatomy of salon loads, dive into those real-world thermal risks, walk through a foolproof 5-step system sizing methodology, and finally learn how to actually design for load behavior.
All right, let's jump right into part 1, the silent killer, where we're exposing the whole spreadsheet sizing myth. A lot of installers mistakenly believe that designing a system is as simple as opening up a spreadsheet and just adding up the nameplate wattages of hair dryers, standing dryers, water heaters, and some rights. But here is the raw truth. Salons are thermal load cluster systems. They are absolutely not a simple watt sum. If you treat the electrical demand of a busy salon like a basic 1 watt plus 1 watt equals 2 watts math problem, your inverter is going to cook faster than a bad perm. Seriously. It's a dynamic, living ecosystem of heat. The environment is heavily heat dominant. It goes through massive morning peaks, afternoon lulls, and evening shutdowns. If you just add up catalog numbers and ignore how those heat loads actually behave in the real world, you're literally engineering a system that's destined to fail.
That takes us to part 2, Anatomy of Salon Loads, or what I like to call the invisible war on the salon floor. To really understand this invisible war, you have to think about two entirely opposing forces. Because, frankly, not all electricity usage behaves the same way. On one side of the ring, we have resistive heat loads. These are your standard hair dryers, hood dryers, and water heating systems. They're predictable, long-duration heat loads. They turn on, they get hot, they stay hot. But on the other side, we have inductive loads. We're talking air conditioning units and compressors. Now, these guys do not just ease into their power draw. They hit the system with a volatile, highly dangerous startup surge. The massive mistake people make is treating both of these categories exactly the same when calculating their system size.
And that brings us to a crucial, absolute game changer of a concept, the diversity factor. Simply put, this is the probability of simultaneous operation. When you're trying to model a salon's power behavior, you've got to calculate the real usage overlap, rather than just naively assuming every single device in the building is turned on to the max at the exact same second. In reality, not every hairdryer is running continuously. Not every single station is blasting at maximum load simultaneously. Understanding this diversity factor is your master key to accurately modeling how power is truly drawn in a real salon over a full day.
Moving right along to Section 3, Real-World Thermal Risks and the actual physical limits of your equipment.
So how do these wildly diverse dynamic loads actually assault your hardware? Let's totally bust a myth right now regarding an 8-kilowatt inverter. An 8-kilowatt inverter does not, I repeat, does not give you 8 kilowatts of usable, continuous power. It just doesn't. If you try to pull a continuous 8-kilowatt load on that hardware, it will fail. We always have to apply a safety margin, which usually means keeping our continuous load right under 80% of the maximum rating. So your practical, usable load band is really only about 6.4 kilowatts. That remaining 1.6 kilowatts, that acts as your vital safety margin and derating buffer. It accounts for the harsh reality that ambient heat, maybe some poor ventilation in the utility closet, and basic wiring losses will reduce your inverter's capacity in real time.
Now picture this, your usable band is sitting right around that 6.4 kilowatts. The hair dryers are going, the water heaters are humming along predictably, and then the HVAC system clicks on. Boom. A compressor startup causes a sudden violent current jump of 3 to 7 times its normal running current. So even though your heat loads have a low surge, that inductive HVAC startup is an absolute monster of a spike. If that air conditioner kicks on while multiple dryers are already running hot, the inverter gets hit with this brutal 3x to 7x current jump out of nowhere. This surge stacking is exactly what triggers those sudden, unexpected, and incredibly frustrating system shutdowns.
Which perfectly sets up Section 4, 5-step system sizing.
This is our behavioral sizing playbook.
Okay, here is the pragmatic, step-by-step playbook for actually engineering a safe, reliable system. Step 1, classify your load groups. Step 2, apply the duty cycle reality, meaning account for the actual fraction of time a device is physically switched on. Step 3, check that inverter ceiling, keeping that real-world 6.4 kilowatt limit in mind. Step 4, evaluate your surge stacking risk by calculating the probability of that massive HVAC spike overlapping with your heavy resistive loads. And Step 5, align your battery and solar. And hey, here's a massive takeaway on that last point. In a behavioral system design, your battery isn't just energy storage, it's a critical shock absorber. It buffers those simultaneous heat loads, the compressor startup events, and short-term clustering. If your battery buffer is too small, the system voltage literally collapses before the protection circuitry even has time to react.
Let's quickly detail that very first step. When you're structuring a salon's diverse loads, you have to categorize them precisely. Group them into heat styling loads, climate control loads, water heating loads, and then your general service loads, like overhead lighting or sterilization gear. Once you break the whole place out like this, you can finally apply accurate diversity factors and duty cycles to each specific group, instead of lazily treating the entire salon as one giant, continuous, monolithic power draw.
And that brings us to our final part, Section 5, Designing for Load Behavior, so we can protect the physical environment.
Let's slow down for a second and bring our focus back to the physical safety of the building, because these are the silent, incredibly dangerous failure points that happen in real physical spaces when you ignore these rules and just blindly trust a spreadsheet. If you ignore airflow and thermal stress, here's what actually happens. First, you get cable overheating from clustered resistive loads. We're talking about those thick cable bundles running right under the salon chairs. Second, you risk a neutral overload because those neutral wires often carry way more stress than expected back at the shared distribution board. Third, your inverter will start throttling hard during midday peaks because remember, an 8 kilowatt system is super unforgiving when it's stuffed into a hot, poorly ventilated utility space. And fourth, you're going to get dangerous voltage sag when heating elements and an HVAC startup hit at the exact same time. Even breakers that look rated correctly on paper will absolutely fail under sustained heat if you ignore the physical reality of the environment.
So, to sum up this entire paradigm shift we've been talking about today, sizing becomes predictable when you model behavior instead of spreadsheets. Designing an 8 kilowatt system for a salon is literally never just about adding up appliance wattages. It is entirely about understanding coincidence, duty cycles, continuous thermal stress, and surge overlapping. When you engineer for the hostile, unpredictable environment of human behavior, you create a system that actually survives and thrives.
I want to leave you with a thought to really challenge how you tackle your very next project. Ask yourself, are you designing your power systems for total wattage or for overlap behavior? Because treating a dynamic heat-heavy salon like a simple math worksheet is just asking for trouble. Model the behavior, apply your diversity factors, respect the physical limits of the hardware, and build something that actually works in the real world. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I really can't wait to see how you all redesign your approach.